Hello and welcome to Checkpoint on Campus. Jacob Brothers is here, and I am joined by a very special guest. I am joined by Stephen Griffin, the content manager, caster, and once a player of University Rocketeers, the European Collegiate Rocket League scene. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I don't feel like I can say anything else. That's such an such an introduction. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I do my best. So, starting from the top, so content manager. So, what exactly does your job entail with University Rocketeers?
Okay, so content manager is a whole lot of jobs, but especially the main priority is the content in between, like say match days, the content we put out on match days, working on that, things like recap videos, highlight videos. So it all like I like have to not so much sign them off, but like it all sort of goes through me, overseeing like talent and booking, doing things like seeding as well. It's a multitude of jobs, but the content, yeah, certainly the bit that you get to see on match day.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed with collegiate Rocket League as a whole, even in North America, is that it's very content heavy in a good way. Like
Yeah.
there's always stuff being pushed out. It's always being properly covered. So how much content is University Rocketeers pushing out like on a regular? Like how many
Wow.
matches are going
Certainly for
on? Like how like what's
EURC.
the whole picture here?
I actually wish I could pull some numbers of the amount of games that we're gonna have on stream this season. Then it's like how many teams can we get in for interviews for in between games as well. We got some juicy things in the works since the winter split where we had the two winter cups. We'll see some of them in EURC. We already put out a I mean a highlight recap video at the end of our announcement stream when we announced EURC. But no, I like what you were saying because it's such a key part. You're right. The content when it comes to collegiate and university sports and esports, really, because you know it's not the professional level, but it seems like it always seems to have more personality about it, and it's something that the fans can really get behind. I feel.
Absolutely. So speaking of University Rocketeers, but before we get to the whole merger, which is obviously the meat of the conversation, so can you walk me through how the University Rocketeers Championship works? Like how many teams are roughly involved, how long the
Yeah.
season goes, that kind of a thing.
So EURC is a 40-team tournament. So teams come from all across Europe. There's 24 teams that get invites based on how well they've done domestically, like in their own national leagues. So I believe we got 5 or 6 teams coming straight out of the UK, whereas there's say like 3 from the Netherlands, 3 from Germany, and we also have like more niche ones like Italy and Spain, and a couple from France. Actually, I think it might be 3 from France. It's yeah, 24 teams invited, and then 16 through the open qualifiers, which in a way counts as like preseason, right? Because they could also qualify via doing well in the winter cups. Like there's so many ways to qualify. It's kind of great. So you never really miss out on getting the best teams if availability doesn't really line up for them. But the season itself, you get into it. We're talking 4 10-team groups, so you got to like play all the other 9 of your opponents, and that'll take place over 2 3 weeks. That feeds into the double elimination playoff bracket, and then the format for this URC is super special, of course, because there's also a last chance qualifier after that. And the playoff bracket, that's played over the course of 2 3 weeks as well, because there's just so many games, and we don't want there to be games off stream where we can stream them.
Right, absolutely. And so now the next thing is the CRL World Championship. I feel like this is something that
Yeah.
has it's been in the making for a while. It's finally being realized. So my first question about it. So like, how long has University Rocketeers wanted to be involved with the
Oh,
NACRL? Has it
I
been like a
feel
long
like
time, or
yeah.
is this like a
I
recent
feel
interest?
like we've always wanted to be a part of CRL because it's practically, as far as I'm concerned, the best collegiate esport in the entire world. The
Absolutely.
development and the tiers of it is incredible. The value of content that is put out as well as just the raw quality that started off obviously many years ago, and the university scene likewise started around 2016, 2017 in terms of like the early grassroots, and that was certainly I can say for being in the UK. European University Rocketeers tournaments didn't start until 2019, which I was playing in at the time as well because I was still at university myself. So we've been making tournaments for the last 2021, 2022, 2020, 2019, inclusive, that's 4 years or so. The end goal has always been to, like, join on to CRL and be, like, a part of it and under the umbrella because that just makes the product better on both parties. But as for the actual, like, point of contact, it's been in the works since I would say last summer. So summer 2021 was when talks started happening and we started to make it happen.
Okay, that must have been so awesome to hear that like it was finally
Yeah.
happening. I could only imagine. So one question that I kind of had on an organizational level is obviously on a technical level, it would be difficult for European teams and NA teams to play each other a lot, like in a regular season. But
Yeah.
do you wish it was kind of set up that way, or do you like the system of like the top six teams then go to CRL
Mm.
World?
I quite like the system just because it's such a huge deal and such an adventure for so many of the players. Like the 6 teams from Europe that are going to be going to, the World Championship. It's going to be a huge deal for them. We can only assume that the event itself will be held in the States, and that's going to be, massive for them. Flying over there, players of which the caliber are very few of them won't have played in a LAN environment before, and to be the ones that represent not just their university, not just their country, but an entire region on the collegiate level, like it's huge for them. They'll come in for the most part as underdogs, sure, but I can't take that sort of feeling of adventure away from them. Playing the regular would be cool, but then, as you say, the technical difficulties with like server swaps and constantly, it would be more hassle than what it was worth. And being that close, I feel like you'd just be so annoyed that it wasn't a LAN environment all the time.
Right. And so you mentioned underdogs. That's exactly where I wanted to go next. So
Mm,
talk to me about the European collegiate or university
mm,
competitive scene. Who are the top teams? Are there a bunch of top teams? Is there someone who's far and away with it? How does it
yeah.
look?
There previously in the past like sort of couple years, we'd have felt like there was a runaway team in the sense of Berlin Phoenix that was with players of professional tier, the likes of Tigri as well as Nagflo alongside Quinn. But due to the rules in Uniliga, they couldn't really play together until they were fully actually moving into the same university coming into this past year. So they've been trying to get that sorted, but in the meantime, we've sort of had this big four rise up out of the soil over the course of the winter split and across the 2 cups we saw it was 2 teams from the UK. That's the University of Portsmouth down south and the University of Salford in the north. Then we had the German sort of Titans Dusseldorf, the Gaming Dragons there out of Germany, and also Erasmus Esports Rotterdam from the Netherlands. And that big four really held the scene and narrative. They didn't really lose to any other teams other than each other for the like first half of the winter split. And then Winter Cup 2 happened, and sort of Windersheim just smashed onto the scene out of the Netherlands as well. But also well, their team name is Swag de Po, which translates as chicken swag. They're the University of CY Tech
That's
Po in the
incredible.
southwest of France. And they are also proving that they have a very high ceiling as well. So the exciting thing for me as well, especially casting the events, is there's so much depth and it's
Mhm.
very rare where you automatically sort of know who is going to win coming in. Like we straight away, the first game day of the second Winter Cup, a team out of Russia, Team Ranapa, which is the Russian administration, presidential academy of accounting or something. I
I love the
literally don't.
names.
It
I
was
love the
it
names
was
so much.
it was like alphabet soup trying to say that live. It was ridiculous. But they literally beat Erasmus Esports Rotterdam in their first game. It's crazy at this point.
So there's definitely going to be room for surprises. You think when it comes to the
Big
worlds? Okay.
big surprise.
Okay. So now, kind of the $1 million question: do you anticipate on a European team winning it all in CRL Worlds this year?
Now my colleagues might not be happy with me if I said this, but I don't. I feel
Okay.
like the raw quality of the likes of Northwood and Akron, like. eh, Caliber wise, the only team on paper that super directly competes with them would be the likes of Berlin, who obviously we're not expecting to be able to make it. But as much as Salford and Portsmouth, likewise on paper, have looked really, really strong, I think it's a bit of a push too far, especially with the crowd that would hopefully be there. It's going to certainly be back in the North American teams. I'm hoping for a podium place. That's what I would be aiming for. That third
Okay.
place is what I would have my eyes on. I'm trying to be realistic here but never say never, like, a run's always possible.
Right. I mean, so do a lot of the European teams like keep tabs on the American teams, or do you think it's a lot of like unknowns on both sides?
I think now they probably will do. In the past, certainly not so much, honestly. It was almost, not spiteful, but like, "Oh, it's CRL, we'll never get to be a part of that. We don't even wanna know how good they are." But now it's like, "Oh. Oh, they're quite good. Yeah, we maybe need to get on that." I mean, we had some cross-regional show matches a couple years back, but again, they went the side always went, towards the side that had the sort of server advantage, so it was kinda like you didn't really get to know much. But yeah, they'll know who the big dogs are, but no, I wouldn't say they know enough right now, the European teams. It might be a sort of blissful ignorance coming in. They'll probably hope it works, but yeah, I'm not sure it will.
Yeah, that's something that's always interested me is like kind of the VOD disparity because like VODs are readily available for both teams,
Mm,
but it just depends on like when they view it and when they start
Yeah.
that preparation. It's an interesting mind game. But Steven, this has been awesome. So where can we watch these games?
That's twitch.tv/University Rocketeers. I say University Uni Rocketeers and Uni Rocketeers 2 as well. Of course, we've got the national partners. If you want to follow them, then I would advise you to look to our Twitter at Uni Rocketeers, and there's announcements with full details there. But yeah, all the games will be broadcasting on twitch.tv/Uni Rocketeers or Uni Rocketeers with a 2 at the end. Those are really going to be the places to be.
Fantastic. Well, Stephen Griffin, this has been an absolute pleasure. I am really excited because Rocket League is just the easiest esport to watch, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited to watch a whole other region now and then have them crash. It's like League of
Yeah.
Legends, but understandable. So like I'm so
Yeah,
excited to see like these
exactly.
parts of the world mesh. So thank you so much for coming on. Very much appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what the University Rocketeers do this season.
Thank you very much.